Nerd Reactor, roll out.
What's up, Reactorites? John here, and it's time to review Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And this is the highly anticipated Marvel Studios film, and Simu Liu plays as the lead character, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, written by Dave Callahan. This movie is bonkers. It's crazy, and I love it. The action is top notch, and just the story, the family story of Shang-Chi and Wenwu, aka the Mandarin. It's everything I can hope for in a martial arts film in the MCU, and they really incorporate a lot of things. It's inspired by a lot of Hong Kong flicks, and to a certain extent, even anime. And because you have the wuxia style stuff, you have the Jackie Chan inspired fight scenes, and you have fantasy elements. So parts of me is like, oh, this reminds me of Avatar, or this reminds me of Dragon Ball Z. The filmmakers with Destin and Dave Callahan, the writer, and also Brad Allen as the stunt coordinator, just together, they've worked on creating some really cool action moments and story elements. But let's say for the fight stuff, the fight scenes are just really, it's like, I think it's the best fight scene ever in the MCU. And we have stuff with Shang-Chi fighting in the bus, and then you see Shang-Chi fighting on the side of the skyscraper, and there are some really cool shots. And the edits, I love the way they did the edits. It's like longer takes, so there's not a lot of quick cuts, and also there's no shaky cam. And sometimes shaky cam can work if the director knows how to pull it off, the style and the edits. Like, for example, the Raid 1 and 2. The Raid 2 has some shaky cam to it, but the fight scenes, you're able to read the fight scenes. Here, I would prefer like no shaky cam. So with this one, no shaky cam, and the fights are clean. You can actually see what they're doing, and the edits, there's like a lot of long edits. There's like even shots where it's like a long one shot take, especially scenes that are inspired by Old Boy. If you've seen Old Boy, so there's a scene that just is very much inspired by that, just like side scrolling video game style. And I was watching this, I was like, man, okay, that's awesome. And then, as the movie goes on, it gets crazier in terms of the wuxia style elements, and with the flying or the floating, or just using your abilities to be able to control the elements. And it's beautiful. Like, the movie is just breathtaking to just really see this in the MCU. It's like a dance, it's like an art form, and I love that this is going to be seen by a lot of people that aren't used to watching Hong Kong films, and so this is going to be introduced to a lot of audiences out there, and hopefully when they watch it, they'll be like, maybe I want to check out some of these wuxia films, Hong Kong action flicks, Jackie Chan stuff, Jet Li stuff, Tony Leung stuff, because Tony Leung is in this movie. He plays the Mandarin, he plays Wenwu, and his performance is great as this father who just wants his son back. And also, it touches on more, like he has an arc in this, and I don't want to say too much about it, but I really like his arc and just his story. With this, it's definitely different from the I don't know too much about the Mandarin, other than he fights Iron Man. He's got the 10 rings, and he wants to rule. This one, I think they've taken a lot of liberties with his character, but he's still a badass. He still controls an organization, still a villain. But I do like the certain things that they've changed, especially the 10 rings. Like, instead of the rings on the fingers, they're like the rings on the arms. The powers are different, because the rings, you have different abilities, like controlling or manipulating, or different elements. But for this one, they're pretty much, they act as one singular thing. So you can use it as a force field, or use it like kind of like projectiles. It's still badass. It still looks cool. When you watch it on the screen, you're like, wow, these things are cool. And Simu Liu as Shang-Chi, very likable guy, charismatic, and I liked how they portrayed him here in the movie, where he's a guy that's a valet, a hotel valet for cars, and very super relatable in terms of just being like a person, a regular person, because he's not like Iron Man, like a billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, or Captain America, a man out of time with a super soldier serum, or Thor, God of Thunder. But he does know how to fight. He's been trained, but he still wants to try to live a normal life. And so it's kind of cool to see that, like, an MCU hero in the beginning, is just trying to live a normal life. But yeah, his stuff is great. Like, just the action scenes, the moment with his dad, and his relationship with Aquafina's Katie. And I think them two together, just great chemistry. And for me, like, I really care about him. And I know, like, there are people out there that aren't huge fans of Aquafina, but I liked her in this one. So overall, the best fight scenes ever in the MCU film, and I think one of my favorite Hollywood martial arts film and wuxia films. And the story is touching, especially with the family element, and the performances by the cast, very very great. Tony Leung and also Michelle Yeoh. But yeah, those are my thoughts for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Let me know what your thoughts are once the movie comes out. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. With that said, I'm John, and I'll see you guys next time.